Hi, everyone. A couple weeks ago, I hopped on and I was talking about this idea of moving away from I want. And so I've still been sitting with that idea of I want that feels like it's so ego driven and future driven and just makes me anxious, like with expectation. So over the past few weeks, instead of that question, what is it that I want? I've been sitting with what is my heart's longing? What is my heart yearning for? So I know that tomorrow in the Alchemy Art Circle, Michelle Dummer is going to guide us through a mindful mandala practice. So I thought, well, in that spirit, I'm going to create a mandala that really is about asking that question about what is my heart longing for. And this is a time of unexpected change in my life. There's a lot of things happening. So I thought rather than think about it and get all that thinking mind in the way, let me turn to my creative practice and see what comes up. Well, what came up was ugly. This isn't what I had in mind. I mean, the colors are weird, the proportions are weird. I started out with hearts and I thought it was all going to be about hearts and connection. And instead it came out ugly. I was like, oh no, is my heart's longing ugly? And then I realized that what my heart is longing for is, yes, to paint ugly. And that's just the word for this because it's not very pleasing to look at, and that's okay. That sometimes life isn't very pretty, that sometimes things come up that don't always look so good, that you have to work your way through. And just the relief of saying, I always say paint like no one's watching. And yes, to be able to paint what's going on in my life and that it's okay. That yes, it's okay to paint ugly. And it was like a load was lifted off my shoulders, that I didn't feel like I had this expectation to reframe what was happening and to find all the positive. And all those things will happen. Everything is changing. Life is a constant process of transformation. And for me right now, my heart's longing is to be present with what is, without having my inner critic come up and say, oh, do this and change this, and this doesn't look good, and you should think about it this way. Just to let it be a little off center, a little out of proportion, a little bit of a weird shape with some weird colors. And how do I find the beauty in being exactly where I am, knowing that it's going to change? So for me right now, my heart's longing is to give myself permission to paint ugly, to just be present with where I am. And the more I do that and allow that, just to allow the natural transformation, the natural changes that are always happening to flow. So I hope you'll join us tomorrow in the Alchemy Art Circle at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and give yourself the opportunity to create a mandala and to be in that process and then see what unfolds. And if you can't be there in person, that's okay. The recording is always available. So thank you very much. And remember to paint like no one's watching, even if you paint ugly. Bye.